Hi guys, Matt Lemke here through Wargaming Goggles, and today this is an update on what happened in 2026, or what happened in 2026. Well, nothing really has happened that much in 2026 for me yet. We'll get to that. 2025 was not the greatest year for through Wargaming Goggles or through Gamer Goggles. For those of you that don't know, through Wargaming Goggles is the sister channel or the daughter channel of through Gamer Goggles, which is channel I started back in 2011, I think, and then probably took a break because of COVID. I did not have time to film. I worked at Lowe's and Home Depot during that mess, and I worked a lot because no other people wanted to work. And when I say worked a lot, I paid cash for my roof. Roofs are not cheap. With that said, okay, 2025, looking back. So there actually were a lot of milestones in 2025. My biggest challenge in 2025 was getting consistent and getting filming and publishing my videos. So with that said, towards the tail end of 2025, I managed to start doing that. There were a lot of headaches in 2025. Well, they're not really headaches, they're just life pains, growing pains of your lifestyle. The biggest one was my dad spent most of the summer in the hospital. And if you watched this on through Gamer Goggles already, some of this is going to repeat until I get down to talking about looking forward. My son, who lived at home, found a different job that was a half-hour away. So my wife and I were taking turns driving him back and forth to work. So we were each losing over an hour to an hour and a half a day in drive time. On top of that, he didn't have his license. He bought a car, and in the last, well, since Christmas he bought the car, and since Christmas he got his license. He's 27, by the way. When he came back from the Marine Corps, he didn't have an Ohio license, so he couldn't drive. He was close enough to work to walk or bike, and he did that most of the time. But with weather and stuff, we always drove him because I guess we're suckers. Anyway, that said, we spent a lot of time in January prepping him for his license, his exam, and moving him. He's out. That's gonna free up a lot of my evening time, which would have been interrupted. And I'm actually I don't want to sound like I'm a bad dad and I'm glad he's gone, but I'm glad that I don't have to plan around going to get him at 7 o'clock at night from work when I'm trying to film or write creatively for Shadowrun or for my own personal stuff, and I can maybe start getting a lot more done in the evening because that's the time I have to write and the time I have to be creative. Saturdays are pretty much going to be spent at my dad's, doing the work around his house. At 95, you can imagine he needs a lot of help. Since October up until right around Christmas, every Saturday I took him shopping and I did something around the house, whether it was the yard work or I remodeled his bathroom for him, fixed his drywall ceiling. My mom passed away 18 months ago, emptied all the closets, took care of all the clothing. And I wasn't alone in that. There were other people that helped, but I was every Saturday or every Sunday, there is an 8 to a 12-hour commitment to my dad. So that does take time away from the two channels. And had I have known things were going to unfold the way they were, I would not have split through Wargamer Goggles when I did into another channel. I would have kept it on the mother channel. But I did split it, and it's not growing as fast as I want it to, but some of that is just consistency on my part. So looking forward into 2026. So there's going to be a lot of Legion content. And I want to hear from you guys a little bit. Right now I'm doing figure forges, assembly videos, how-to assembly videos, and box breakings, unboxings, because I've been Atomic Mass Games has accepted me as a channel that can do reviews, so I'm allowed to get certain amounts of product and review it for you. But that is reviews, I have learned, are not the best way to build a subscription base or a following, because they're for the most part a one and done kind of video. And now I don't know if I want to talk about strategy. I would really, really love to do battle reports. Problem with battle reports is they take so many cameras, and right now I just don't have the cameras to do it. And I really don't, it's not in my budget to buy a lot more. I've been thinking about a way to do it with just like little webcams, different webcams, and maybe that'll work because they're kind of inexpensive, but then I might not have the quality I want to do. And what I don't want to do is buy cameras and then in 6 months upgrade because I'm actually doing it well, and I don't want to feel like I'm throwing out technology. With that said, but yeah, so there's a lot of box breakings, and I kind of want to do some how-tos, and a couple people have asked me about painting videos. I'm not opposed to painting videos, but I am building so much stuff right now. I don't know when I'm gonna paint. Right now, the only painting time I get is I actually schedule every quarter a day with my friends to come over and have food with me. So we paint all day. That's it. That's my painting time. And I get a lot done in 8 hours. I can factory paint. What I don't get done is my characters. So in a way, that's good and bad, because then when I get to the point of filming some characters or some things that require a little bit more detail, like Mr. Grievous here, who I base coated, and that's it, I can go ahead and maybe do those kind of videos. I'm not the world's greatest painter. I did them way back when for some War Machine stuff and a couple of other things, and they had really good feedback and good content. So for some reason, people enjoyed listening to me talk about the weather and the rain outside in October while I was painting a figure for an hour. I don't know. So it's possible. So if that's something you guys want to see, put it in the comments below. I have a Dooku that I can dress up. I've got a whole bunch of Rebel Troopers and Wookiees to paint if you're a new painter or an intermediate painter, which I'm probably an intermediate painter. I don't know how to judge myself. I have some really good paint jobs and some paint jobs that I really hate. And I know why I have paint jobs that I hate, because I just kind of screwed the pooch on them, and I bought the wrong paint was one of them. There was a hobby shop closing up. Not well. It was like Michael's or Pat Catan's. It was called the Flower Factory here in Ohio, and they were only in Ohio that I'm aware of. They might have had one in Pennsylvania, but they were clearancing everything out, and somebody mixed up paints, and they were $1 a bottle, Vallejo size paints, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy these. And I didn't even look at the labels, because you know the sticker said they were this and this and this, and then I bought them, and I painted stormtroopers with pigment. They are awful, and every time I paint them, the white pigment softens. It just runs all over the place. They're awful. They look very muddy, like they were in a planet with a lot of lava and then ash, and then it rained. Anyway, that's that. So the other game that I'm really big into, I pretty much only play 2 miniature games at this point. Well, 3. I pretty much only play 3 miniature games. Star Wars Legion, mostly because the community in our area is great. And we'll talk about that another time. Resolution, which is by far my favorite miniatures game ever. I fell in love with it back in 2002. I still play it. I probably own every model. I probably own every faction 12 to 1400 points deep, which is a very big game of Resolution. I'm actually working on a new FAQ based off of the way we've been playing for 20 years for our run and gun tournaments. And run and gun is an event that I sponsor at my house for 10 of my friends, roughly 5 to 10 of us a week. I cook all weekend, and we play miniature games and role-playing games the whole weekend. We get up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, start role-playing, finish it like noon, go into miniature games, play till midnight, repeat. And you guys will see pictures of that stuff this year. I didn't do it last year. I didn't want to be bothered by it, but the menu is a lot different this year. They wanted chili instead of a lot of smoked food, so I'm not going to be tied up doing things like brisket, and I am doing pulled pork because apparently they love my pulled pork. So there'll be some pictures of that. That stuff will go on to Instagram, so if you want, you can follow us on Instagram. Likewise, if it goes to Instagram, it's automatically going to post to Through Gamer Goggles on Facebook. So you can do that there. And I want to get into a fantasy-based game. I have not played Warhammer Fantasy in probably 9 years. I miss the fantasy genre. I just don't know what game it is. Okay, so I really love the Lord of the Rings Middle-earth strategy battles miniatures. Most of them. Some of them are not that great. I don't like I don't like the hobbits as much. I love the dwarves and I love the elves, and the orcs are the orcs that I'm looking for. Goblins, they're not so much, but I am definitely going to get a Goblin King. Anyway, the other... Oh, I might play Warpath, but it is a very pricey game. And one of my friends is kind of trying to push me to Conquest, but nobody knows about it in our area, and he's 2 hours away. So Conquest might not happen. Maybe we'll get back into Kings of War this year. But Kings of War is maybe a little bit bigger than we want to play. We might want more of a skirmish style game for a fantasy game. I don't know. Lord of the Rings Middle-earth strategy battles is not small either. But I already have more than enough orcs for a force. And I'm thinking about a force of good next year. Classic Battletech, or Battletech in general, is a game that I started playing in 1986. I miss it. When I had hard times in early 2000, I had to sell everything I owned. And when I say everything I owned, I'm pretty sure I owned everything that was in print, except for one technical readout. So, I am looking forward to that. I plan on doing a how-to through the beginner box, and some advanced rules, and a lot more BattleTech. If I do painting videos, which, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do that, especially with mechs. I don't like painting vehicle type things. Mechs are kind of vehicle, but maybe I should challenge myself to do that this year. And I should figure out what I'm going to try and rebuild. When I sold all my stuff, I had a very large Davion Royal Guard regiment. I was within, I think, 100 models of finishing it, and I sold it all. Anyway, I hope I do not have to do that again in the future. Oh yeah, with that, a note on that, BattleTech has released a playtest. I don't think it's actually still running anymore, but you can go do a search for BattleTech playtest rules, and you can find them on their website, and you can playtest them. And I'm sure until they're ready to publish a book or change rules, you can probably drop them some feedback. One of the things I want to do this year, so moving forward, I definitely want to finish, I want to start a new army, and I don't know how many armies I want to do a year. And when I say do a new army, start to finish, get all the models for it, have them all painted, and then have a reveal of the whole army at the end of the year. I might cheat a little bit this year and use the Separatists to be able to play the large game. I think they're still calling it Grand, because that's like making a whole new army. Even though I already have like 1,400 points with it, it's mostly assembled, but it's not all painted, so that's kind of like cheating. But I think the second army I'm gonna do is gonna be for Middle-earth battles. Whether I use it or not, I really want to paint those figures. I really just want to do it. We'll play that by ear, because I have a Rebel army I can paint for Star Wars Legion. I've got mechs to paint. I have to make a whole decision as to which direction I'm gonna go. Anyway, I do want to make terrain. I want to make an entire Star Wars table this year from scratch. So there's that. I don't know what table I want. Maybe you guys can give me some ideas and give me a cool idea. I've always toyed with the idea of doing something like Tatooine, but I play clones, so I think I'm going to lean towards a Geonosis table with like some 18-inch high terrain for Jump 3. I got ideas, and we'll see if I can make that come out on the table. Anyway, the travel is something that I do a lot with this channel, sort of. I go to Gen Con pretty much every year. Origins is in my backyard. Travel's expensive. And, well, I don't know how much of it I'm going to do. I'm going to try and go to Adepticon this year. See the guys from Atomic Mass Game at Adepticon. Maybe get an interview. That's my plan. I don't know if I'm even have my time off approved for vacation yet. So there's that. The channel takes a lot of time. My camera's going to have to be replaced. I'm going to have to do something in the near future. So I'm in the back of my head. I have a entire Through Gamer Goggles network idea rolling around for a Patreon, but I kind of don't know how I want to take that and make it excuse me and make it unique for the patrons, because I feel that if I'm going to do a Patreon, what you guys get has to be more than just what I put on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And I don't know how I'm going to balance that yet with the schedule I have. And I don't even know if I'm going to get to do a Patreon this year, but it's been rolling around my head since before COVID. You're going to see more food. I already mentioned that. And then hopefully I can grow this channel to 12 or 1500 this year. There's going to be a lot more resolution content, I think. I don't know how I'm going to approach that, because there's not a lot of new models. I do have models I can paint in Prime, but they're pewter. They're mostly one piece. I can talk about different strategies and tactics and promote the game. And maybe at Origins, if there's enough feedback for it, I'll run an event. Or at Gen Con, I'll run an event. We used to do this event called Resolution Roundtable. And if there's enough feedback for that, maybe we'll start playing Warlands, because Warlands was a great game too. Anyway, guys, that's it. If you've made it this long, please like, subscribe, and share. Share it with like-minded people. The Through Wargamer Goggles channel is young compared to Through Gamer Goggles. Any ideas, things that you want to see, let me know. I mean, there's a million things you can do. I was a judge for WizKids. I know a lot about cheating. I know a lot about stretching rulers and what to watch for. But that kind of takes a little bit away from the environment of, this is a community that's more about competitive play. And I'm not sure everyone who comes to my channel is about that. So let me know that in the comments below as well, if you're a competitive player. And I think Star Wars Legion has a massively large competitive play base. More so than it might have casual play base, and that kind of concerns me, and we can talk about that at a later date also. I think the players that play Resolution are very competitive, but in the end, the competition doesn't matter compared to the camaraderie of what the game creates. Anyway, guys, I'm looking for 2026 to be a great year. Like, subscribe, share. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky now as well, and I'm thinking about, I would love to do battle reports. Like I said, I'm thinking about Twitch and maybe even TikTok. Anyway, have a great day, and thank you for watching.
Hi guys, meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in the link below in My kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know. You're not gonna go knock down my camera. Bye, guys.